Hello, this is MDB 101. Today I want to show you how to create a cloud by using vertex colors, and I would like to thank uh, Damian Nenow for this theory, and I think it works excellent. So before we go on to this, I want to show you a couple of links that what you need to use in order to get these clouds to be rendered or stuff like this. Okay. So what you need is these things. Translucency Mod. This is by Adam Grant. So here's the links. This one's for 32-bit version, and this one's the 64-bit version. Once you download those, you get this thing. Okay. Throw this thing into the plugins folder within 3D Max 11. There is no 3D Max 12 or whatever is out there. It's just for the 11 part. Okay. And once you get this out of the way, go here and download this one. Once you download this, it's a vertex. This allows you to render the vertex color onto your Max renderer. But this is more important. Get this, and once you go there, open a zip file and follow the instructions in there. Okay. All right. Now let's get started here. To create a cloud. Let's create a cloud by making some spheres or spheres. Okay. Just anything like this. Okay, so let's zoom in on here. The amount of vertices or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just make different shapes, move it around. You could use a painter tool, an advanced painter tool, but it's faster. Just okay, well, let's just use this as a theory, okay? So this is your cloud. Isn't that amazing? Awesome. Okay, so we're going to have to combine everything together. We're going to use the compound tool, and we're going to use the provolene, and we'll unionize everything. And you pick from list, right? Start picking, but I'm too lazy to pick everything, so I'm just going to go here. And when this is loaded up, just control all. Okay, pick them. So it's gonna go through Eevee 1, merge them together, weld them together, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so everything's here now. Cool. But it's too smooth, and what I'm gonna do is convert to poly, and then probably use a multi-res. And just generate that, bring this down, not too much. Maybe throw a turbo smooth on it, get it more bubbly. Convert it to poly. That's good enough. Well, I'm not going to create an entire planet here or something. So just center that back. So now we need to generate the Eevee Match for this. This is a simple part. All you just do is just apply it. Where's my maps here? Somewhere around here somewhere. Anyways, just use this. Edit, face mode, select everything, mapping, flatten map. I usually just leave this default, but just that'll do. Awesome, right? It doesn't really matter how sloppy that is. Convert that back down to poly. So this is your cloud. This is what you're going to use to bake your lights to this thing. So what we're going to do now is create a scene with the lights. So top view. Let's create the set up the rendering. Make sure. Sorry, something in my throat. Must be a fly or a spider. All right. We're going to use V-Ray. We're going to leave everything the same. We're not going to touch no settings, whatever like that. Okay. So we're on V-Ray. We're going to create some lights. Light I'm going to use is this one. It's called V-Ray light. Just put the dot there. Go back to your modifier and say 100 by 100. This is going to be my top view environment, like for the blue lights and shadows and stuff. So I'll just go up here, and this will be invisible to the camera, so it won't get in your way when you render the thing. The cloud of this color. Oh, set this to 2. We'll adjust this later. Okay. Set this to like blue, whatever the environment is, and set the material. Just use V-Ray standard material here. You can use gray, whatever. So you can use a gray standard, but whatever. Just using this, throw it there, and see what this looks like. Get rid of the grid. Render this. So it's going to be like this. Ooh, how boring. Okay. We're going to we need another light. We're just going to create leave that there for now. We're going to create a direct light. Standard, target direct, and this is going to be your sunlight. Okay. The sun's going to come this way. The sun will be has shadow, V-Ray shadows, and what about that? Intensity color. I think maybe 2 or 3. The brightness of this would be just as good. Set the sun color to some sort of yellowish. Okay, that's good. And keep in mind that the light fall-offs has to cover everything. So and just move your sun all the way up here, whichever. Could be high noon, afternoon, sunset. Okay. Let's render this. It's getting a little better. That's where the sun's coming in, blah blah blah. It's all dark, etc., etc. So what we do now is turn on the GI, because in the bottom it's just black. See, isn't that crazy? So we'll just go back to the environment setup and go back to direct illumination. Turn this on. Leave everything the same. It doesn't matter. And go back to your environment. Enable this, and you got to have this number really low. Maybe like we'll start off with 17. Render this. See what this looks like. It's gonna take a while. So we get a color of this. This is the bottom environment, and the top view is the top environment is the blue light. So we could take this and put it here, and what else I'm gonna do is set my thing to this, because we're not gonna really need a renderer. Just using this to be more faster. So it's looking good. And this part here. So this is all just a theory on how to do it. Okay, everything's awesome. Looks great. Blah blah blah. Awesome lighting scenes. You could, however, make your own environment scene before baking everything in. So maybe it's like create the lights, create your environment, set that up first, and then you know, save it as a light scene, and then you can just merge your clouds in here and generate the light maps from here, and you can move all these lights however you want. But for now, I'm just gonna use this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna bake that light map now. So we get the get this, render the texture coming up. Set your bleed to maybe 4, so you don't get no lines. However, channel 1, we'll add a V-Ray complete map, and I'm gonna go with the 1024, or I can go by 2048. But I'll just go with that environment. This doesn't really matter. Where I want to save it though is maybe into my cloud place. I'll just save it here. This is very temporary. It's just, you can delete that later. So I'll just throw it there, blah blah blah, and then render it, I guess. Let's just hit render. I'm just gotta wait for this thing. I'll be right back when this is rendered. Okay, I'm back. So we got this image, looks like this. Pretty fancy, huh? So we're just taking all these colors and just gonna bake them into the vertex colors now. So we don't need that no more. I wanna switch my scene back to just default max render. Just send it back. Defaults. And bring up your material editor, and in here you'll see this does no longer exist, so I'll just get rid of that. Something like this. In here, get your diffuse, get your bitmap. Your bitmap's going to be the thing we generated from here. Put it there. Yeah. And that's what it looked like. Cool, huh? It may be dark and stuff. Don't worry, we'll fix that. We don't need these lights anymore. Just take them out. Good. Get out. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is create a Vertex Paint. Okay, and then we take the diffuse only mapping, and we'll leave it on color by face. Just assign this. And then enable the vertex thing, so it's a little brighter, right? And we're gonna get like little spikes here and there, but this won't matter. This will be all destroyed when I generate something else. Another Vertex Paint. This will act as like a Photoshop layer type of deal. We can make it brighter and stuff, so just repeat the process maybe 2 or 3 times. It depends what you want. Diffuse, everything, mapping, good. Assign, no, wait. Oh, assign, there we go, sorry. Okay, cool. So it doesn't really look that illuminated. It's only because that we have a bitmap still attached to this model. So what I usually do is like, okay, well, I don't really need that bitmap anymore because I got all its colors in its vertex information. So I bring up this and just drag this here, and it's all morely bright now. So we got a cloud looking like this in the bottom. You know, that's why I have 2 things here. We can adjust this bottom by, you know, adding more stuff to this. But you can leave these 2 Vertex Paints in the modifier panel, and you can totally adjust this later. So I'm just going to go screen, and you can adjust how much darkness do you want on the bottom of the cloud. From installing that translucency mod, however, it's located in your modifier panel. So just find it, translucency mod, and it'll probably take a while. This is kind of slow, but it'll come in. So here it is, our fancy cloud, dark on the bottom. Okay, so you can play with the settings to be more transparent. What if you go too low? It'll be just black, or it'll destroy itself. So each time you update this number, it'll take a while to kick in. And so we have a cloud. Looks like this. So when you want to render this, however, you will have this. See how it's just that now? Let's increase my rendering. Let's go 309 because I'm picky. So we have this. How and how we're supposed to get this vertex color onto here, right? On the rendering panel. So that's why I downloaded that vertex color rendering. Once you install it, it'll be right here. Render vertex color toggle. Okay. So when you render it, now it comes out. Okay, so what we're going to do is create planes to match the puffiness of this cloud, because right now we have just this puff. And the background is all, this color. We can totally change that by going to the environment and just take a bluish color. And it's starting to look like it's in the sky, but that's just me being picky there. So cool. So let's create some planes. I'm going to apply a map to it, so well, it doesn't really have to, really, because it has generate mapping coordinates. Okay, we can just leave it at that, but we have to create 3 of them. Let's make them 3 by, because it has to be different variations of cloud puffs. So if we have like smaller ones and then later bigger ones overlapping, so you kind of get a variation of size. So let's go by maybe 10 by 10, and this one could be really huge, 15. But we can still adjust these when we use a scatter tool. So we're going to take this right now, and then a compound, scatter, pick your object, scatter that, and we will make maybe 500. Or we can go higher, because we have to really, doesn't really matter, but it would be ideal to cover the bottom base. So let's just go with 1,000. Area. Then we'll randomize this with the vertex chaos. Okay, so we got that. Awesome. Convert to poly. Then we take I know there's like an inner sphere that I don't want. See this thing here? So just invert. Wait. Yeah, invert. This is how I do it. Invert and then hide unselected. Oops, sorry, it's over here. And take this ball and delete it, and then unhide all. So that's what I. So then you take that inner sphere. Sorry, I must have hit it. Collapse that down. Actually, do poly. Take the sphere, add a project modifier on it. Projection, and then we'll pick these clouds. Okay. Leave the cage. Cage is fine as is. Under projection, we'll add project mapping. We'll add vertex color and leave the thing as a source. And project all. So it's done, but we don't see it, right? We just have to go to the object's properties here and set that to vertex display, and we have this. It took the properties from the base and scatter those vertex colors onto the plane objects, which is kind of cool. Convert that to poly. Okay, and we can do the other one. Same thing. We can do this 3 times, or we can just do it 2 times, depending how thick you want your clouds to be, or how puffy they want to be, or in variations. So same thing, compound, scatter, pick your object. This time I want maybe 500. This would be the outer puffiness. Vertex chaos. Looks like my hair. Area. And then we'll set the scaling. Just let's go crazy like that. Alright, it's done. Convert that to poly. Then we'll apply a, oh wait, go this way. Get the projection. This one's been gone, so I have to pick another cloud layer here. And then mapping, vertex color, same source, blah blah blah. Project all. And it's going to do this one. And then we go with the object properties, and then set the vertex display on. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. I'm going to collapse this to poly, and take this object and go to vertex object properties, vertex color channel display, and that's this one. Okay, so we convert that to poly now. Unhide all. So we got this cloud layer. We have to assign an opacity map to this thing, but if we want to render it now, it's just going to be like this. It's cool, right? So we go back to your material editor and just select any other material and go to your opacity and select the bitmap. And here you'll have I found these on the internet, by the way. I didn't just hear randomly pops and stuff. So I'll take this one, okay, and just set in the opacity map and just apply it to the top layer. Don't worry if it doesn't show up in your viewport, because that's very unnecessary, because we'll be rendering these. And take this one, make another one. Oops. Another opacity map of a different puff. Maybe this one. So I have 2 different looking smokes. Apply that to that one. And then we'll leave the base as is, the base cloud there. And so we got that, and we can render. Hopefully it looks good. And that's how you do a cloud with vertex coloring. If you keep doing this in practice though, you can make really excellent clouds. I just did this as an example, like really quick, just to show you guys. So good cloud. Oh, I got the pops going. It was awesome. So what you have to do here is you have to create like an environment of clouds. So you create a whole world of spheres, and then you import your lighting system however you want. And then you have to unwrap all those objects, do what I did here. So that's how you create an environment of clouds. The advantage is that it renders super fast, and that's the only thing. But the disadvantage is that you cannot add a light source to it. These won't respond to any other lights in the scene. Like for an example, if I throw a simple on-way light here, it's not going to show. This example really extreme. Let's go 43 times. When you render it, the cloud's going to be exactly the same. It's unaffected because it's based on vertex colors. So you have to. The clouds will be just for compositing, I think, only for in After Effects or whatever you have. So hope you enjoyed this little tutorial I did for you guys, and cool. See you again.